Much. I'm telling you, she's like my guru. And I want to record this too. Is that okay with you, Veronica?
That is fine by me.
Okay, so we're live, I believe. Now we are in the group. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coach's Corner Live. I have this lovely lady who has joined us today, Veronica Hislop. Veronica Hislop is the founder, owner of Empowered Solutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she has been working as a social worker for many years, working with women, helping them with their mindset, helping them to change the way they think. And so I'm just going to hand this over to her. Veronica, introduce yourself. Tell us all about who you are. We are so excited and waiting to hear about how to overcome procrastination.
So, I just want to kind of say, yeah, I started my journey out as a social worker. God knows what I am now. I call myself a women's transformation strategist, ninja
Nice.
stress busting warrior. And that is my journey from social work to being a family therapist, from there getting into trauma counseling and then NLP and life relationship coaching. So, it's a whole smorgasbord of things that I have done over the years. I think it might indicate that I'm a little bit ADD. Who knows? Who cares? I did it. So I'm doing what I love now, which is working with female entrepreneurs, helping them to manage their stress in their interpersonal relationships, get clear, get focused, get grounded, put their energies back into their business and skyrocket their success. And I'm like everybody else in COVID, I'm pivoting. And so my new pivot program that I'm working on is it's Accelerate to Generate, and it's all about overcoming procrastination, becoming more productive. And
Okay, so before you tell us all about your
yeah.
program, please tell us how you even got started in working, well, in social work. Like what led you to social work, and then what led you to working with women, in terms of over getting clear, getting focused. How did you even find this passion? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when you're young,
Yeah, I remember a long time ago.
yeah, you do things because people say, well, that's a good thing for you to do. As a Black woman, I felt there was only like three areas that I could work in. I could get into teaching, I could get into nursing. And I didn't want to get into nursing because everybody else in my family was a nurse, including my mom. And so I thought, well, you know what? Why not do social work? So I had no real idea as to why I got into social work, but it seems to have been the right place for me to be because I've stuck with it, even though I've done various things in it. I've stuck with it. So I can't tell you why I became a social worker. Can't tell you that at all. But I have consistently stayed in the helping profession because you know what? When I think it's my mission and my joy when somebody comes and they're like this, and we start to work, and I give them a little nugget of information. And sometimes, it's the simplest little thing, and that person takes that and they come back. And it's like, well, well, I did this. And I said, well, wait a minute. I didn't tell you to do that. Well, it was when you said this. And I think, did I say that? But that's what they heard, and that's what made them, then I'll go for it. So it's when somebody comes in and they feel lost, they don't know that there's something behind the door, and all of a sudden they're able to crack that door open and take one step over into the new room, or into the darkness, into the light, whatever you want to call it. When I see people doing that, that lights me up.
Amazing, amazing. And that's one of the things too, why I do what I do as a coach. When you know that you are helping someone, when you know that you're giving them the tools that they're looking for. I mean, I don't know about you, but when people have that aha moment of, oh my gosh, I get it. Or I now know what I want to do, or hey, I've moved past this one block. It is quite rewarding. So tell me a little bit about what you've been like, women in procrastination. Why do we struggle so much with it, especially in our businesses?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about my journey first, because it all
Sure.
yeah. So, we're all human beings in this world, and we all have our own journey and our own lessons to learn. And was working in the field of therapy for quite some time. And I was working with a company that really it promoted therapy and helping and support, but it didn't do that with its workers. And I remember one day we were all in a meeting and everybody was stressed. Everybody, when you talk to somebody, they were all stressed because they were just pushing us to push out clients. And I looked in that meeting and I thought, oh my God. And including myself, so I'm not just, I thought, we look like a haggard bunch of people. We don't look good. Including myself, I include myself in that group, but we didn't look healthy. We looked stressed. We looked, and I thought, I don't want to work in this way because my clients aren't getting the best of me. And so when my contract ended, I decided I was not going to go back to work for that organization. I thought, well, let me start something for myself. You have the means and the ability to do that. Within 6 weeks of me doing that, I became a caregiver to my mother, who had early signs of dementia, and my brother, who had had a heart attack and stroke and was disabled. And my
Oh,
life
wow.
just turned upside down,
Mm-hmm.
with just caregiving. And somehow myself, I found myself at the bottom of the list. And I think one morning I woke up and I was having a heart attack.
Oh my
I
gosh.
called 911,
Oh, wow.
or thought I was having a heart attack, called 911. And it was in the midst of the municipal elections. And they sent, this is beautiful Canada, beautiful Brampton. And I see it, I see this through a loving lens. They sent 8 emergency responders to my home.
Eight?
It must have been a very slow day, or they were wanting to teach something. But I saw these big, burly firemen with their boots walking over my lovely white carpet. And that was when, because I wasn't having a heart attack, I was having a panic attack.
Okay.
And they were walking all over my lovely white carpet, traipsing, and I thought, Veronica, that was my wake up moment. Veronica, like, come on, this stuff. Get yourself together, girl. You're stressed, do something about it, and do something about it quick. If you don't put yourself ahead of this, get behind this, it's going to get ahead of you. So it kind of started there. I started looking at stress management, investing and exploring into that. And that has kind of led me into, well, who isn't stressed now in COVID-19 with the pandemic? And that's when so that's what got me into doing the stress management stuff. And from there, with COVID, I got into, I wanted to do something different and decided that, yeah, procrastination, helping female entrepreneurs, because a lot of us are getting into entrepreneurship right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how can I best be of value? And so this is where I'm kind of the direction that I'm kind of going in right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I completely understand how a personal experience like that, right? Thinking you were having a heart attack, which is, I can't even imagine how that must have felt. But I love the way you just said, here you are in your home thinking you're having a heart attack, having first responders coming through your home, and what's sticking in your head is they're walking on my white carpet. So that is definitely a wake up call. Yeah.
That's
And
that
you
was
know what, Veronica, I can actually, it sounds funny, that we would, but I can actually identify when you step back and you go, that's such a tiny thing for me to be freaking out over. What is wrong with me? So, dialing back a little bit again, because I know I definitely struggle with procrastination. I
mm,
definitely struggle with procrastination. What is it do you, and I know, and I feel like maybe the reason I struggle with it is because sometimes you just don't have the energy. Sometimes it's because you just don't have the tools or the resources. Like there's so many, sometimes honestly at the heart of it, it's just that you're afraid or you're just a little insecure or you just don't, feel like you have all the knowledge and skills. Is that some of the reasons maybe why women, I know
There are
that's,
many reasons, but here's the thing, we can call ourselves lazy, we can call ourselves undisciplined, unmotivated. But the very first thing that you said connects to what my story. And a lot of times that we are procrastinating, it's not because we're any of those things. It's because of energy. Is it a, and I want, and I ask myself a lot of the time, is it time management that's stopping me from doing this? Or is it energy management?
Mhm.
And that's and I think when you start to key as women, because we are juggling so many things, you're a wife, you're a mother, you got business, you may have parents that you have responsibilities for, you've got yourself, you got to throw yourself in there. We've got so many things on the go, and then you want to start a business, you got so many things on the go, that we need to be we need to be really kind and compassionate with ourselves and really kind of say, okay, yeah, I mean, I could develop a better habit over here, but wait a minute, when was the last time I had a good night's sleep?
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
when was a, what's my what how am I feeding myself, am I eating healthily, when was the last time I exercised, those kinds of things. And as I've gone through this, I realize, when you the question that I ask is, what one thing, if you were to do it, would give you the biggest bang for the buck? And
Hmm.
I ask you that, what would that be?
One thing that would give me the biggest bang for,
Around procrastination.
I'm sorry, I said again, that to over,
Around procrastination, what one thing, if you were to do it, we're talking about energy here, what
Mhm.
one thing, if you were to do it, would give
Okay, so I love I'm totally in line with everything that you're saying because I've realized it in my own life that exercising is so important to my mental well-being, stress, getting things done, energy. The one thing that I wish I could do is be up early in the morning to start my exercising routine, right? I go for walks. I go for long walks. That's how I walk. I go to a trail near my home. But I don't get up every night. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up early tomorrow and I'm going to get started on the trail at around maybe 9:30, 10. Never happens.
so let's
I end up
park that for a
exercising
moment.
at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's one thing I wish I could shift.
So you are exercising, but you're just not exercising in the morning. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's right.
Well, if you're exercising, that's great. But and everybody has to do this exercise for themselves, right? For me, the number one thing for me, and it's a work in progress, is getting adequate sleep. And
Oh,
I just started since October of last year. My sleep has been really messed up, and it's because, as a entrepreneur, I would stay up until 2 at night. Oh, just finish this, and so forth, and it just screwed up my sleep. And I realized that if I don't get to bed before 12 o'clock, the exercise ain't gonna happen. The morning routine that I know is good for me isn't gonna happen. I'm not gonna do my meditation. I'm not gonna do my spiritual work. I'm not gonna do any of that because everything is off kilter. And so it's something as simple as getting proper sleep, for me, is the biggest bang for me, and everything else falls from there. So that's my energy thing that I need to work on, and it may be different for everybody, but if you do your own intel and your own research, you will find out what that biggest thing is for you.
Okay, so you're saying energy is definitely a big piece to overcoming procrastination.
Well, if you're hungry, if you're angry, if you're lonely, if you're tired, halt. If you check all of those things, that's all to do with energy. And energy is what fuels your willpower, your mindset. If you're it doesn't matter what you say to yourself. If the energy isn't behind the drive, it ain't gonna happen.
Nothing's going to happen, which is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
One of the things that I suffer with are some autoimmune issues in my own health. And I know that if I don't take my meds, for my digestion, for my thyroid, for my other issues, I might as well be sleeping through life. And I'll have, and honestly, Veronica, one of the worst things for me is just not having any energy. When my health is dipped like that because I'm too stressed and I'm not paying attention, haven't been taking haven't been getting good sleep, my body lets me know for sure. My thyroid just stops. It's like a complete stop. So you're absolutely bang on. Energy is so key.
I have no thyroid, so I have to focus on these things.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
So just in case you think we're hopping around, what was this? My story was all about stress, right? And so it is all connected, the energy, the stress, it's all interconnected. And that is all about, well, what's the word? Self-care. That, procrastination, yeah, it's there, but if you're not taking care of you, then the likelihood of you procrastinating is going to be very high. I mean, everything comes back to the compassion and the kindness that we show to ourselves in self-care. And as women more than anything, and and as women of color more than anything, we need to do this because we've been told that, we have to be strong and, the strong Black woman myth, we all buy into it. It's a bunch of crap. But so the self-care piece, that's the number one thing that I start to do with women in my procrastination program. It's, how do you manage your stress? Because if you can't manage that, if you don't know how to take care of yourself, and if you don't know how to calm down quiet your mind, nothing I say, nothing I teach is going to filter in.
Gotcha. So tell us a little bit more about this program. What does your program teach? What does your program offer?
Okay, so I'm in the process of putting it together, and it's all about the power of how you accelerate to generate. And my method is, because I did some research, and the research came back saying, yeah, women wanted help in getting over procrastination, but they didn't want one more thing on their plate that they needed to study, that they needed to learn. So I wanted to do this in a way that would simplify things, that wouldn't it wouldn't put extra pressure on a woman. And so my new method is hacking the subconscious mind, working with your subconscious mind, using energy tapping, hypnosis, meditation, using all of those energy work, using all of those tools. So we look at your thought processes, what's your stinking thinking, what's going on there, how can we shift that, what are the cognitive distortions, how can you speak to yourself, find what you're doing, speak to yourself in a different way to change around your stinking thinking. We then look at, so that's understanding the power of how I think. We then look at
power of mindset, right?
Understanding the power of values, because we don't take the time to understand why we want what we want or why we do what we do. We set goals and we may not achieve those goals, but that's because we don't know what our values are. And so we take the time to do that, because sometimes the values that you have, they're not yours.
You know what? You are so bang on about that one. So many times we don't sit down, and that's one of the reasons I talk so much about personality in my work and in my group, because we have to start with, who are we? What
Mm-hmm.
do I value? What do I like? What's important to me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not what the world says is important, not what my family or my spouse, but what is important to me. That is such a good point. So thank
And
you.
giving yourself permission. Because a lot of times we feel that, yeah, I want that, I want to do that, but I'm not able to give myself permission to have it. So we spend some time focusing on that. And we do the power of I want. So we do spend some time looking at your vision, and working in that area. And then understanding the power of courage. Can we let go of some of those old stories,
Mm,
or themes? Because sometimes it's not a story, it's a theme. And when you peel back an onion, and you think, oh, okay, I've dealt with this, and then oh my God, it comes up again.
so do you mean like having the courage to let go of past things? Is that what you're
As
saying?
past stories, messages, etc., knowing what they are, or themes. So for me, I don't know whether you might identify with this. The themes that I struggle with and that I have to keep peeling the onions from is this whole idea of hard work. That you have to work hard, comes from my culture. You got to work hard, baby, if you're going to get anything. Well, it might have worked for me when I was a teenager, but now that I'm getting into the senior years, I need to slow down. I can't be working like that. So, if my mom, who just passed away last year, I
Oh,
tried
sorry to
to
hear that.
interview her, and I would interview her and ask her about her history and her story and so forth. And every time, well, I had to work hard. And she would tell me a hard work story. It was all about work.
Yeah.
So that is ingrained in me, and there's layers of onions I have to peel off of that one. And the other one is lack, and
Lack, L-A-C-K, lack?
that
Okay.
comes from my legacy, the legacy of slavery, and how that has been passed down from
Mm,
generation to generation, and how
mhm.
that played out. I mean, when I look back at my family, we were not poor. We were never poor. Well, we weren't rich, but we grew up in a house. I grew up with both mom and dad, and the house that we grew up in England, you probably wouldn't be able to afford it today. So I wouldn't come from poor, but yet this whole idea of lack, of not having enough, or never being enough, is something that is filtered through in my family. And I know where it comes from. It comes from the legacy of slavery. And it might be something that a lot of Caribbean or people in the diaspora struggle with, but everybody in the diaspora has money issues, right? We all do. We all have to work on that. And so those two things are the things that I have to work, that I put them out there because those are my issues that I continuously have to work on, that will trip me up, when I'm trying to put myself out into the world. And so part of why I'm doing this procrastination program is because, yes, we want to be entrepreneurs, but so
Mhm.
much of entrepreneurship is about self growth, self development, self understanding. So go ahead.
No, no, sorry. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, and so at the end of all of this, you have a roadmap of confidence, that you know what confidence looks like, and a roadmap in terms of action steps that you need to take in order for you to kind of um, um, get over it, become more productive, become more successful, and overcome procrastination. And do I procrastinate? I still do sometimes, but I know it, I catch it, and I'm less likely to stay stuck in it.
Nice. I love what you said. I love that you said, the confidence piece, because I actually think that that's, for me at least, that's when I'm procrastinating, especially in my business, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I wanted to start a Facebook group a long time ago, but there was the procrastination, right? The procrastination of the steps I needed to take to get there because I was a little bit nervous, right? Your confidence, when your confidence is not quite there. So I love the way you said that, building your confidence and then laying out some action steps. Because there's no point of saying that I want to do these things if you don't actually have action steps. In your program,
And a plan for yourself to get out of your own way.
yes,
So that
yes.
you know, because I know when I'm procrastinating, I know. I know the little games that my mind plays. I know. But the thing is, I do one of the things that I teach is the Sherlock. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't. What is it called?
It's called Sherlock, based on Sherlock Holmes is the detective, and
Mm-hmm.
really, and if you want to know more about it, you're gonna have to come and join my Overcoming Procrastination Female Entrepreneurs Group. But very quickly, it's really a process of self-examination that we step outside of ourselves and we take a look at what it is that we are doing in a without berating ourselves, without criticizing ourselves, but you're doing intel and research on yourself so that you catch your behavior, but you don't attack yourself because you're doing something or blame yourself or criticize yourself. You just say, oh, okay. And you observe the behavior, maybe write down what exactly you're doing, how much of it you're doing. And then you can come up with a plan to shift it or do something or not if you choose to, because you have that choice, right?
So you have the
But
choice to not do what would you like not do anything? What do you mean
yeah,
exactly?
it's a choice.
That's
You know,
true. That's true.
you
That's
can,
true.
okay, that's what I do. Um, I'm not going to do anything about it, but at least you know what it is, okay?
Gotcha.
Or I know what I'm doing. Don't like that. I'm going to do something else. So if you want, I can give your clients, that your listeners, a little exercise if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'll tell you. It comes from a little story. I'll tell you a little story first. So a couple of months ago, I walked into my kitchen and I saw dishes in the sink, pots and pans and so forth. And I cleaned them up and I cleaned up the kitchen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the next day I came back in the kitchen and I saw pots and dishes in the sink. And I said, hello, wait a minute. Didn't, because it was the exact same dishes, the exact same pots. And I was like, deja vu. Didn't I do this yesterday? Wait a minute. And then I began to think, how much time am I wasting cleaning up the kitchen every day? Turns out I waste about 7 to 8 hours a week cleaning my kitchen, which turns into about 28 hours a month, which turns into about 360 hours a year.
Wow.
That's a waste of that's a waste of time. You know. Now I could have looked at it like, oh, you stupid idiot. You made a mess again in the. I could have looked at it that way, which wasn't going to help me. But when I started to look at it from a Sherlock perspective, the facts please, the facts please, I was able to kind of think, okay, so maybe I might want to do some meal prep, some meal planning. Maybe I want to, instead of cooking every single day, I might want to cook once a week, and cut up my vegetables all at the same time, put everything in the garbage all at the same time, put the garbage out. Maybe if I do some meal prep, it might mean that I would go to the market a little bit more equipped. Maybe I might be able to eat more nutritiously because I've planned my meals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, looking at it, so that's what led me to think about, where in my life am I wasting time?
Mhm.
And so that's the question, the exercise I would throw out to your listeners. Do a little bit of a inventory of your life and figure out where in your life, make a list of where you see yourself wasting time. It could be you don't have a place to put your bills, and so your bills are all over the place. And when it comes to paying your bills, you can never find them. So I don't know. You have to do your own intel and research and come up with where are you wasting time, and then what is and add it up the way that I did, and then what can you put in place to shift that? Because if you have more time, that's going to help you in terms of you know procrastination. Oh, I can't do this because I don't have time. Well, actually, I just gained 360 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what an interesting I never thought about it that way when you laid it out, like X amount of hours each day equals how many hours each year. And I'm telling you, you've put a real mirror up in front of my face, because I tend to do that. I tend to, what's that saying? I being like, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a
Expecting
different
different result.
result,
Yeah.
right? Like this constant, I'm going to have this schedule of this for my day, but then I don't get up early enough to get that schedule started. I've been procrastinating this for a year,
But then
right?
again, so what we talked about before. So you not getting up in the morning, you may need to take a look at what you're doing the night before.
I'm doing what you're doing. I'm staying up way too late,
There
12
you
o'clock
go.
at night, working on my business
You just Sherlocked it right there.
instead of getting proper sleep. And
Yeah.
it's really funny because I was just saying to I think my sister just yesterday, I was telling her I have all these dark circles around my eyes. I don't know what it is. I've never noticed it before. And she said, "You're not getting enough rest."
And the thing is, and I also, and again, it comes back to, so for me, it comes back to my whole theme that has been drilled into me, because it's all connected of hard work. And this idea that I've got to stay and get it done, and got you know whereas if I actually put it away, went to bed and went and got some sleep, or even put it away and relaxed, right, which for some people could mean watching something on Netflix. Nothing wrong in that. We'll talk
Mhm.
about that in a minute. But if you kind of put it away, and then got your rest, or did something different with your brain, you might come back that next morning with a different energy. And this has happened to me so many times, and you just knock it out like that.
Amazing. And your whole perspective, and it's so, again, I'm validating everything you're saying, because when I get good sleep, when I get up and get my day started so that I can get everything done, I get very stressed and very, I become very, I find that I become very like irritable when, I'm rushing to get things done that I could have better prepared for if I hadn't been procrastinating, right?
But
So,
remember, so the other thing is, um, and I'm harping on sleep because for me, it really is a number one thing that I have to work on, because we're working, for most of us, we work on the same kind of body clock. Our circadian rhythm is, we get up in the morning, we eat lunch at a certain time, we need to go to bed at a certain time, because that's all in line with the moon and the waves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all in line with what's going out in the world. So when we get out of line with that,
mhm.
it's kind of like we're walking up a hill. We're working against what is in our that what works for us and is in our best interest.
Yeah, and it becomes just harder.
Exactly, that's the walking up the hill part.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and so getting back to procrastination, so it's some simple steps, simple things that we need to do that may give us the biggest bang for the buck. The other thing is hydration, water. You know, how many of us are dehydrated? We don't even know. Oh, you know, these simple little things. And so the thing with the circadian rhythm, I started something and I didn't finish, is, well, here's another exercise for your I'm getting excited about this topic, as you can see. I'm not on the place. But the question is, again, do some intel and research on yourself. What is your most productive time of day?
That's a very good. That's a very good starting point. Yeah. So you're saying assess that. Assess what is the most productive time of our day. Okay. So the most productive time of my day is in the evening time.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, yes.
Interesting.
So is that a good thing?
Doesn't matter. I mean,
Okay. So just use it to your best advantage. Is
yeah,
that it? Use it
yeah.
to
Because
as
for
a
me,
strength.
it's first thing in the morning.
Right. For you,
Yeah,
it's first
you
thing in the
know.
morning.
Well, yeah. If I get before COVID, if I used to get up, go for a swim, go for a steam, come back, have a milkshake or whatever, a shake, and I would be sitting at my desk at 9 o'clock in the morning, having done all of that, and boom, 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 you know, I would get my stuff done. So if
And that
you
was before COVID.
before COVID. So now what I do is I get up and go for a walk, but because I'm not sleeping, you know, my walk isn't happening first thing in the morning. But the reason why it's important to know when your best productive time is because you want to use that time wisely. That is not a time when you're going to be doing emails. That is not a time when you're going to be doing your bills. It's the time where you're going to be dealing with your most difficult task.
Ah, so save your the time of the day where you have your most energy for the time to do your most challenging tasks. That's a very good point. That's
Yeah.
a very good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and your downtime when you're in low energy, that's when you do the mundane tasks or the tasks that don't carry the same amount of uh, the quality. So emails, Facebook, you know, you don't want to do those things in your most productive time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
figure out what that is for you. It's different for everybody. Yours is in the evening. Figure out what it is for you and use it productively.
Okay, awesome. All right, so Veronica, just quickly as we before we wrap up, tell us. Okay, you've given us some great strategies. Choose the time of the day where you have the most energy. Get good sleep. Really, really important. Have a plan of action around around the procrastination. Tell us
Sherlock,
about. Sorry.
Sherlock, that's important.
Sherlock. Sorry, yes, the Sherlock method. Um, Tell us about just quickly, some of the successes you've seen in the women that you've worked with. What have you seen happen in their?
Um, you know, I've seen women come in, as I've said, been very depressed, very down on themselves, not have a lot of energy, and I've seen them. And I love those women because, you know, there are three types of women that I work with. There are women that, you know, there's a door that they know that there's something behind that door,
Mhm.
and they'll take the information. They don't need a lot of information. They just need a little bit, and they take that information and they're busting through that door, and they come back and it's, hey Veronica, I heard what you said and I did it and it's happening, bye, and they're gone. Love those women. And there are those women that yeah, I gotta cajole them, I gotta push them a little bit, then I gotta cajole them, I gotta, you know, and it's one step forward, two step backs, cha-cha-cha, one step forward, two step backs. And those women take a lot of work and a lot of energy. And
Mhm.
then there are those women that no matter what I'm doing, they are not going to embrace what is over on the other side because they are too afraid of letting go of where they are to embrace something new and something different. And
Wow.
those women are hard work.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
hard work because,
Mhm.
they need a lot of support.
Mhm.
They need a lot of, I need to listen to their pain, and they're in a lot of pain. They may be stuck, they may be immobilized, but they identify with the pain. And so they're not ready to let go and release, and they don't feel that they deserve something better, etc. Because I have all that social work, therapy experience, etc. So when you come to me, yes, I do the life coaching, but you get all of the other stuff too. And so, I hold a space for you as a woman to deal with the goals that you set in terms of what you want for yourself. But if there are underlying issues, trauma issues, and for a lot of us women, there's deep stuff down there. If those are trauma issues that are creating themes that you're circling around. And if you're willing and if you're ready, we will look at those themes and peel the onion back from those themes that are getting in the way. So, we're going to look at your values. We're going to look at the stories that you're telling yourself. We're going to look at your beliefs. We're going to look at your goals. We're going to look at your stress, values, etc. So that's the kind of work that I do with women, and I have worked with men as well. But right now, my niche are female clients.
Your program sounds amazing. Where can people get more information if they are feeling that they're struggling with procrastination and they could use some help?
Right now, I'm hanging out in my own Facebook group, the
Okay.
Overcoming Procrastination Female Entrepreneurs Sisterhood. It is
I'm
a
sorry, what's the name of it again?
Overcoming Procrastination Female Entrepreneurs Sisterhood.
Overcoming Procrastination Female
Female
Entrepreneurs
Entrepreneurs
Sisterhood.
Sisterhood. And that is a Facebook group. I provide education, resources, tools, and support. And I'm really looking at the support piece right now. And I have a really nice, neat little thing that I'm going to be doing in terms of support, but you're not going to know unless you come over and find out.
Okay, so did you get that,
I'm
everybody?
teasing. I'm teasing.
She's throwing out some teasers. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about how to overcome procrastination, please check out Veronica's group. Veronica, thank you so much for being a guest on Coach's Corner Live this Thursday. I love everything that you shared. I'm shocked to see how much it applied to me.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
me
goodness.
too.
I have to go and sit down and I love the part about, especially the part about when do you have your most energy and use that time to do your most challenging task or what you need to get done. I find that when I have stuff for my business that's really important, if I don't have the energy, if I'm not doing it at the time when I have my best energy, yeah, I don't get it done, or it doesn't get done well. I don't come with my full, my mind just
Mm,
ready to just dive in. So
mm,
that's a really good point for me. So thank you
mm.
so
Thank
much.
you for having me. And I have a little gift for your audience.
Oh, nice. What do
It's
you have for
called
them?
3 Reasons Female Entrepreneurs Procrastinate and How to Fix It. I think I did send you the link.
You sent it to me in my email. Yes. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes. So
So
you
do you
can
want me to,
share
so I'm
that
just
with
going to
your
push that
audience.
out? You just want me to push it out? Okay.
You can, no, share it with your audience because
Yep.
it's some information. Yeah. And thank you. I enjoyed this discussion. I really did.
Thank you too, Veronica. And thank you for being just part of, one of the things I've been very impressed about in the last year is just how many women are not only leading their businesses and starting businesses, but they're just doing amazing things. And
Mm,
especially in the area of self-care and
mm.
taking care of other women. And procrastination is such a big stumbling block for all of us. So thank you so much again, for being our guest. So you heard everybody. She's set to head over to her Facebook group if you're looking for some more help. And that link that she's left for given me to pass along to you with some a great little giveaway, I'm going to include that in the group in a few minutes so you can all have access to it. Thanks for tuning in to Coach's Corner Live. Thanks again, Veronica. Have a lovely day, people. Bye, beautiful ladies.